Welcome to the Anxiety Slayer series. Our mission is to assist you with creating more peace and tranquility in your life through anxiety release exercises and supportive tools created to slay your anxiety. Today's Anxiety Slayer podcast is brought to you by the Anxiety Slayer Academy. We've been offering a free podcast for almost 9 years to help anyone suffering with anxiety find relief. Now we're helping you go deeper by providing step-by-step support on how you can get the best experience from our favorite tools and techniques for overcoming anxiety. Visit the Anxiety Slayer Academy and get your free Anxiety Slayer starter course at anxietyslayer.teachable.com. Welcome back to Anxiety Slayer. I'm Shan Vanderleek here with my wonderful friend and co-host Ananga Sivyer. We come together weekly from Kent and Leelanau to share Anxiety Slayer sessions with you and answer listener questions from our inbox and Facebook page. Together we share a powerful collection of techniques to reduce anxiety. This week's listener question is about feeling anxious after a good time out with friends. When I go out and have a really great time with friends and I'm laughing and having a wonderful time, the next day I'm full of anxiety. Not sure why this happens, maybe having such an endorphin and serotonin rush that when it drops the next day, my anxiety kicks in. I was glad to get this question, Ananga, because I know this happens to a lot of people who go out and socialize, and often who might be doing so with alcohol involved. Not always, but I know that the anxiety can come, the coming down after that experience.
It's a fact that alcohol consumption usually spikes anxiety the next day. Very often, people have a drink with friends, and the saying is, have a drink to take the edge off, and often there's several. And then in the early hours of the morning, the liver has to deal with that. The liver detoxes our blood while we're resting. And it's a very common experience for people to wake up around 2, 3 a.m. feeling very anxious. Sometimes claustrophobic. I know one person in particular who was a direct response of drinking alcohol with friends would run out the house in the middle of the night. He would wake up and just had to try and get away from himself, wake up in this really agitated state. And that's quite a common experience with alcohol consumption. And very often the intention is to relax in the evening, but you pay for it the next day.
I remember the first time I learned about this was, maybe a few years into our partnership, back when I would go out and have cocktails with friends more often than I do today, and never putting the two together, never understanding why on occasion I would wake up in the middle of the night almost feeling electric. It's just not a good feeling. And it's certainly anxiety. It's your whole body just kind of freaking out at what it's doing, detoxing the liver. And on top of that, it already often takes us a lot of nervous energy to go out and socialize, even with the people we love the most. So you have that going on. And then if you're adding the alcohol, and then if you're adding the detox, boy, it's no wonder that you might feel sideways the next day.
Yeah, there can be a lot going on. And I think it's really important with anxiety to keep an eye on your nervous energy. If my anxiety comes up a bit, I watch myself very closely. And you have two choices in certain situations: to lean into it with support and go for an experience, a social experience or a challenge. Or sometimes we have situations come before us and it just feels a bit too much. It feels like it's going to increase our stress or increase our anxiety. And we always have the choice to pass on those situations. Recently, I was in quite a stressful situation, and I was traveling around in a new area and I needed to get my car cleaned. This is such a tiny thing. And I was trying to make the decision, do I go to the guys with the cloths and the buckets? Or I went to a garage to get some petrol for my car, and there was an automated car wash. And you had to get the token and figure out how to use this particular one. It was unfamiliar to me. And I looked at it and I thought, that's increasing my stress a little bit. I've got a lot to do today, a lot to sort out, a lot of unfamiliarity. I don't need to do that right now. And it's a tiny thing.
Right.
Sometimes when we feel overwhelmed, it's okay to just look at yourself and think, I don't need to deal with that right now? Am I going to go in there feeling jazzed and not know where to put the thing? And how far do you pull forward? And when do you go out? And I don't need to do this right now. It's just going to add to my stress in this moment. And it's such a tiny thing, but that's why I'm sharing it, because these things can accumulate and then we start spinning out.
Right.
So really important just to have a think. Okay, you're going to spend a nice evening with friends. Think about the nervous energy involved in that. Particularly, we talk in Ayurveda about vata types. For vata types, when they're feeling unfamiliar in unfamiliar circumstances or heightened social situations, they really feel it. It can really spike their anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to go and have a nice evening, make your day easy before if you can, and allow a little come down time the next day if you can. Just allow that you might feel a bit spun out. The vata type will also have a tendency to analyze every conversation and every interaction from the night before if they're feeling a little uncertain. So just to know that that can happen and it's okay, and just allow space for it.
I think the other thing to add to that as well is stay as hydrated as you possibly can when you're out and about. Because even if you're just out for dinner, even if we're not talking alcohol consumption, the foods that you eat sometimes are going to be richer foods, more sodium, more going on. To also add that hydration is going to be helpful. And of course, if you are having alcohol, it's going to help your body process that alcohol later on in the night.
And also when we're having time with friends, it can be very stimulating, which is also another key factor in provoking anxiety. There might be lots going on, some unfamiliarity, might be a noisy environment, maybe everybody's talking at once, and that can feel quite a lot to be coping with, and that can also come out the following day.
More than anything, allow yourself to enjoy your friends and also give yourself permission that when your time's up, you head home. If your friends are staying out extra late and that's not appealing to you, that's okay. You can very graciously bow out after having a couple of hours with them. You don't have to stay the whole time. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing, and you can still enjoy their company and take care of yourself.
Mm. And another thing that's really important to bear in mind is that very often when we've had a good time, anxiety can get to us after the event the next day or a little further down the line. This used to happen to me a lot when I was suffering with anxiety. And it's very easy to fall into the trap of good and bad thinking. For example, if I had such a good time, why am I feeling so bad? And that can really add to the mystery of anxiety, where you feel that, why am I suffering so much when I had a nice time? It's very hard to equate the two. But for me, what would often happen with anxiety was it was almost like a trust issue.
Yeah.
I would feel that I'd had a good time. I was feeling happy. I was feeling more relaxed. And then my anxiety would creep up and me be like, well, what now then?
Yeah.
What's coming now? You've relaxed. You've had a nice time. And I'd get this anticipatory sense that something bad might happen. Or was it safe to relax? Was it safe to laugh and have a good time with friends? And anxiety can really come out the woodwork with that. And that's where rescue remedy is very important.
Very helpful.
And just really supporting yourself, learn EFT tapping, and be able to tap through those feelings and those what if thoughts and internal dialogue that arises. Know that it's normal and understand that it's challenging. It feels absolutely awful. So please be kind to yourself and allow yourself some support with that.
Get everything you need to start slaying your anxiety today. Visit anxietyslayer.teachable.com to claim our free Anxiety Slayer starter course. You get 4 guided sessions, including an EFT tapping session, guided breathing practice, and special module on overcoming the fear of anxiety. Claim your free Anxiety Slayer starter course at anxietyslayer.teachable.com.